Making a buzz this afternoon, Flying the Friendly Skies is about to get a lot louder. Virgin Atlantic just approved plans to allow people to use cell phones and send texts on some of its flights. Now, those flights will be between London and New York.
The system handling the calls will allow up to 6 users at a time to be on the phone. Calls won't be allowed during takeoff, landing, or within 250 miles of U.S. airspace. All right, we want to know what you think about this. Is this a good idea?
Joining us to discuss this topic and more, today's guest, we have Robert Steve, editor of Arizona Highways Magazine.
Along with Jim Sharp, who you can hear weekday mornings at 550 KFYI. Both of you, thanks for being with us again. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay, put yourself in the cabin.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I mean, what do you think about this?
Yeah, that's the part that scares me. But I also wonder how they're going to determine which 6 people get to use their phone. I mean, have they talked about that? Is it just the people in first class, or how does that work?
Yeah, there's going to be fights. There'll be fights. Somebody's going to see somebody on the phone. They're like, I have to make a call like right now, and you need to get off your phone so I can get on my phone.
You know, and that's what the airline, they'd sit down a written statement and said, this is really for exceptional purposes only. Please don't abuse this. But you know folks will.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Actually, this is, believe it or not, this is the reason why we haven't had cell phone calls on planes. Pilots use iPads in their cockpits. It really does not interfere with the flight. I've had many pilots admit this to me. It's just because nobody wants to hear you yakking for 4 hours on the way to Washington, you know?
Yeah, and there is this, people don't seem to understand that they're speaking so loudly, even when you're sitting in the gates. And that's where it stands out most to me, is in airport gates. People speaking as if there's no phone in between them and the other person. They're just yelling at the top of their lungs. And, you know, to bring that onto the plane, just, it doesn't appeal to me.
Can you imagine some of the conversations that we're about to hear? I mean, in the grocery store, like you said, in public, people really don't know how to filter themselves. It's like they're alone.
Yeah, it's called cell phone etiquette, and very few people use it. Let's get to what you're saying. Jennifer Creasy Turner on Facebook, other than driving the person nuts that's sitting next to you, I don't see the issue really.
Dave Biggett says, bad. Can you say sell, yell? How annoying.
And Caitlin Riggs, if I can't text in a movie theater, people shouldn't make calls on a plane, or there should be a separate section for them.
And David Wilhelmi says airlines offered phone service in the past. As long as the voice level is not loud and the language is appropriate, I don't see a problem. Unfortunately, some people don't have filters.
Yeah. So you get up in the air and your wife or husband says, you know what, it's over.
Well, and as Rebecca was saying, you know, in the grocery store this goes on, you know, you can go over to aisle 8, they're in aisle 6,
Yeah.
you're stuck on that aisle seat maybe next to that person. Unbelievable.
You get into a heated conversation on a plane, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Well, still to come on